Hey folks, this is Rob Wells here with you from the Law Office of Robert M. Wells. Our office specializes in helping out landlords and property managers deal with their landlord-tenant situations and problems. In this video, we're going to talk about when a landlord is subject to the Tenants Protection Act of 2019. It's also known as AB 1482. It was passed several years ago by the California legislature, and we're going to talk about when and how a landlord is subject to the act. Before I begin though, landlords, property managers, if you're trying to figure out whether or not you're subject to the Tenants Protection Act of 2019, or you're dealing with any type of landlord-tenant situation or problem, please feel free to reach out to us below. Now let's begin. Now, I get this question quite often from landlords, and maybe they ask directly, or they may not even know whether or not the Tenants Protection Act of 2019 applies to them. And to begin, to give you the overall overview, the Tenants Protection Act generally applies to certain landlords if and when their tenant has lawfully resided in residential real property for at least 12 months or more. Now, there are some exceptions and there's some special rules, particularly if there's more than one tenant. For example, if there are 3 tenants on a lease and they sign up at the same time, the law requires that all 3 tenants continuously and lawfully occupy the property for 12 months or more. Or you could have a tenant situation where one tenant or more has lived at the property 24 months or more, and the Tenants Protection Act will apply to that entire tenancy. So this means that, hey, grandma that wasn't on the lease, wasn't listed as an authorized resident, if the landlord doesn't know about them, technically that person is not subject to the Tenants Protection Act because they have to lawfully and continuously live there. So if your tenant, for example, rents out a place from you, 6 months later, decides, hey, they leave, and then let's say, hey, they come back 3 months later and then they start living there again. Well, the law says they have to continuously be there for 12 months or more. So if there's any disruption, that could reset the 12-month or 24-month clock here. So again, landlords, property managers, if you're dealing with a situation where you don't know if the Tenants Protection Act applies, or you got questionable facts, you need someone to talk to about this, please feel free to reach out to us below. Until next time, folks, we'll talk to you then, and stay tuned. Thanks.